It's tea time today, friends. I'm so excited to share with you 10 of my favorite teas that will be sure to warm your system as well as manage an assortment of health concerns and help support stress and a whole bunch of other things. So if you are a tea lover or if you're interested in consuming tea for medicinal purposes, stay tuned for today's video. I'm so excited about today's video because I'm a huge tea lover, and if you are a regular viewer of mine and you watch a lot of my live shows, you know I also love tea mugs, and so I'm always drinking tea in an assortment of tea mugs like my Mama Bear mug here. And tea is just so wonderful, especially with us coming into the fall season and then the winter months. Tea can be really great for soothing and warming our bodies, but it also, depending on the tea that you choose, can be really great for an assortment of health conditions. So I'm excited to share with you 10 teas today that we're going to talk about. And so these are slightly in the order of how I kind of value them in terms of importance, but also how you can take them throughout the day. So if you love tea, hit pause, grab your favorite warm cup of tea, and let's dig into my 10 favorite teas. Number one, I always begin my day with a tea from the Republic of Tea called Stress Suppress Tea. This is amazing, and it has literally 2 herbs. These are, I'm literally down to my last one. This is what the little tea bag looks like. It has a kind of rosy floral scent to it, also kind of a tint of orange. This tea is a combination of Tulsi and rhodiola. I talk a lot about this tea, especially on my morning live shows, which, by the way, if you want to join us, I go live now Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. The Tulsi and rhodiola combination is what allows us and our bodies to adapt to stress. Everyday stressors, biological, biochemical, physiological, all different type of environmental stressors, allergies, your mother-in-law, your kids, your husbands, your work, whatever that is. This is a much healthier way to start your day in terms of helping support your stress response. So grabbing Tulsi and rhodiola first thing in the morning is really wonderful. Now, I often recommend rhodiola and holy basil in supplementation as well. But one of the things that I really love about teas, and you'll find as I kind of go through my 10 teas here, tea often will give us higher milligram doses. So we get more of a power punch, and you also get a much more bioavailable form, if that makes sense, because the tea is a lot easier for your body to digest. And I know a lot of people actually have challenges when it comes to digesting or assimilating certain supplementation. Okay, number 2, my favorite, is dandelion tea. This is a roasted dandelion root tea. And oh my goodness, this tea bag. So this is what a tea bag looks like. I'll open it up. You're going to get 1,500 milligrams of dandelion. Dandelion, counter to what a lot of people think, it's not a weed, it is a medicinal herb. This is a little tea bag, and the brand that I love, and a lot of this brand you'll see kind of peppered in with my teas, Traditional Medicinals. They have very nice, clean teas. The tea bags particularly are lacking in plastic. One of the things that you have to be really cognizant when you are purchasing tea, if it's not loose leaf, that a lot of the tea bags are made from plastic, and that totally defeats the purpose of trying to be healthy and add in medicinal properties, and then you're consuming a very toxic, hard to get rid of detox plastic, and increases your estrogen levels. It can offset your thyroid, cause breast, prostate cancers, as well as all sorts of other challenges within the body. So Traditional Medicinals is my favorite. Dandelion tea, this roasted dandelion tea, is something I drink throughout the day. This also is another kind of coffee alternative. It is, when you brew this up, it turns the water really dark, and it has this kind of rooted scent, the aroma. It's hard to describe. If you drink it currently or if you plan on grabbing this, I just want to kind of communicate what to expect. This tea is superb for supporting your liver. And so for many of you who might have high cholesterol levels, high triglyceride levels, maybe you've even been diagnosed with elevated liver enzymes and maybe even sclerosis, fatty liver, or have any type of like hepatitis C, or just experience hormonal imbalances, particularly if your traditional kind of emotion with hormones is anger or even rage. I tend to fall in the anger category, so I laugh because I'm totally talking about myself. But dandelion is great for that. Dandelion will also help support healthy bowel movement. So if you're dealing with constipation, this is a good alternative to a laxative. And one of the things that I like about dandelion as an alternative to laxatives is laxatives are not going to cause long-term challenges with the way your bowel functions. What dandelion does is it causes the liver to produce more bile, and in bile is how you get rid of excess estrogens, excess toxins. It's what really clears and cleans the liver. So we get more bile production, you're clearing your liver, you're cleansing your liver cells, but then in turn, you're also supporting a healthy bowel function where bile has a base pH, but its function in the tract of the small and large intestine, it actually functions like a sudsing action and lubricates bowel movement. So if you have straining, I know that might be a little bit too descriptive, but I like to be completely transparent with you. If you kind of strain when you have a bowel movement, or it takes a little bit longer for it to move, and also maybe you have a history of hemorrhoids, then dandelion tea is really great for that. So I love this. I drink about 2 to 3 cups of the dandelion on a daily basis. And I will usually do 2 tea bags, and I will add water multiple times to that. So I kind of get a longer lifespan out of my dandelion, but it's very great for the liver. And most importantly, it's really great for moving the bowels. And it also has the extended benefits like I described with hormone balancing. So number 3 is actually what I'm drinking right now. And this is an herbal, okay, herbal. And for many of my viewers, I can't say this word, but the initials are C, Bumblebee, B, D, okay? So it's that herbal compound, as well as ginger and turmeric. And this tea, I'll show you this tea bag. It's really bright yellow, and my water is really, really bright yellow, and it smells great. This I love for a multitude of reasons. One, the herbal component in it, it's about 10 milligrams, nothing major, but it's enough to kind of calm your body, to ease and soothe stress. It helps to balance hormones. There's now more research about this herbal compound in terms of helping modulate your immune system. So when we're dealing with this massive virus that's affecting all of us globally, this can be very beneficial. The other thing that I love about this tea, and I sell this in my clinic, so I'll include links down below. Actually, links to all of these you can grab down below. So don't feel like you have to take notes, just click on the little arrow box below. These we sell and I ship out of my home clinic right now every day. This tea also has turmeric and ginger. Turmeric and ginger are great for reducing inflammation levels, which also benefits if you're trying to minimize the impact of a virus like what we're dealing with. But also if you deal with joint pain, muscle pain, even inflammation of the heart and fingers, you have RA, any of the autoimmune disorders or dysfunctions that you might be dealing with, also headaches and tension and lymphatic impairments. Ginger and turmeric coupled up together are very potent as anti-inflammatories. They're very good for bolstering your immune system, and they're also good for helping to decrease the inflammation levels in the body. And to be honest with you, if you feel like right now you're dealing with a lot of stress, that stress actually biochemically causes a lot of inflammation. So if you are flaring or you're dealing with kind of malaise and brain fog, that could very well be inflammation kind of creeping up. And we have not just isolated inflammation, but we can have systemic inflammation. What I love about this is the orange label, in case you're looking in my store. I love this because it addresses a multitude of health concerns. So if you're dealing with pain, inflammation, swelling, water retention, hormone imbalances, weakened immunity, autoimmunity, this is a good resource for you to drink. I happen to drink this later in the day. I'm shooting this video later in the afternoon. I start to kind of wind down, so I will add this into my mix, and it's really wonderful. I spoke about this recently in one of my live videos. I'll post that video where you can watch. If you're not totally interested in the news part, there is a timestamp. So just click on the video and just click to this timestamp, and it'll take you right to where I talk about this. This is another traditional medicinals. This is a new product. I'm so excited. I found this when I was at my local Sprouts a few weeks ago. This is organic Stress Ease. It has cinnamon, and its primary ingredient is skullcap. And the dosage on skullcap is insane. I don't think I've ever seen anything this high in skullcap category. It's 1,117.5 grams of skullcap. Then it has a mix of cinnamon bark and licorice. And that is only at about 382 between the two. So this is what the box looks like. And it again comes in one of the cute little traditional medicinal packs. And one of the things I do want to mention, if you love kind of inspirational quotes, traditional medicinals will always have some sort of little saying. That have a little saying here on the little tea bag. Like this says, from a small seed, a mighty trunk may grow. And then it'll say who it's from. Sometimes it's unknown, but I love it. And so that's kind of the fun of opening your tea bag, because you don't know what inspirational quote will be in there. But the major benefit here is the ingredient of skullcap. Skullcap, to be honest with you, I have not seen it readily available in this high of a dosage. It's often a minor ingredient. And when you look at your ingredient lists with teas, one of the things to know as far as ingredients on teas, they will list the primary ingredients, and they list all the way down to the smallest degree of ingredient. A lot of times skullcap will be in the lower part of the list. So this is skullcap forward, obviously, and then it has a little cinnamon, which is great. And then it has licorice. Skullcap is amazing for reducing your stress levels. And so raise your hand if you feel like the current situation we're in, and I'm filming this in the middle of October, we're in still this crazy global pandemic. Many of us have our lives interrupted. We're all balancing multiple things. And we also are dealing with some of the economic impact. You might be dealing with the social impact. You might be dealing also just personally. You're not able to do all the normal things. And it's like, okay, I'm going beyond 6 months and I'm stressed out. I actually have a video coming out about stress management. I promise it'll be very impactful. But skullcap. Let's get back to this ingredient. It is wonderful for reducing your stress levels. So I love this. Now, skullcap has a multitude of benefits. If you watch that live video, you'll see all the lists. But one of the things that I love about it coupling with cinnamon is this can be very beneficial for any of you who might have diabetes or pre-diabetes. Cinnamon plus skullcap equal balancing of blood sugar. And this is one of the main resources of why I really like this for a lot of my patients who are dealing with the kind of ups and downs and uncontrolled blood sugar levels. Sometimes adding a few tea bags of this throughout the day can help even that out. And the cinnamon just adds to those benefits. So overall, skullcap, it relieves tension and stress. That's why it's getting billed as a stress ease. But also there are a multitude of other benefits that I love. Okay, so next up is for my ladies. I've actually done a video on this tea. Gosh, I think it was maybe 2.5 years ago. This is a tea. Before this company made this tea, I used to have to make my own tea. And it is QUAI and a red date mix. And this is an instant drink mix. It actually, you make your little tea. It comes in a little tea bag. It's all kind of dehydrated. You add hot water and boom, you've got the magic of what I used to have to chop up and boil, steep and simmer and do all those things with. This tea is really beneficial for my ladies that have endometrial challenges. Maybe you have really heavy periods, really heavy clotty periods, you have endometriosis, maybe you have some fibroids, cysts, as well as any type of polyps within your uterine lining. This tea, especially, you want to take it when you're not having your cycle. So basically that means avoid this tea when you have your cycle, but drink it at all other points. This is really, really beneficial. The QUAI, or it's commonly known as an Angelica, the Chinese name QUAI, is very balancing for a lot of uterine imbalances. And as we get older and we go through the hormone cycles, or we have imbalances in our estrogen, progesterone levels, it's not uncommon to have a thickening of your endometrial wall. This can occur for women in their 20s, women in their 50s, and women in their 70s. Depending on your age, as well as additional conditions like maybe endometriosis or uterine fibroid, you might be dealing with really heavy crampy periods and anemia and other side effects that might lead your doctor to say, hey, I think we need to take out your uterus or have a partial hysterectomy. The QUAI red date tea can be used as an alternative, or at least to help you manage some of those symptoms. It helps really minimize that thickening of that wall. It also will help ease some of the fibrotic tissue. I think one of my first probably 5 or 10 videos that I posted before I knew anything about any YouTube stuff, I actually made a video, and oh gosh, I'll list it right there. It's embarrassingly horrible. The editing is awful. I think I did that video way back on my iPhone 4 where it's horrible. It's not pleasant, but I show you and I talk about the tea. And so we now have this advance to this option where you can get this in these little instant mixes. I love that. So this is a really great tea for my ladies. So I'm going to introduce my next two one at a time, but I use them in combination and I get them loose. So these are loose dried elements. So let's start off with my first one. I get dried elderberries. I buy these. Literally, I buy a whole, I fill it up. Nowadays, you're going to be getting these already prepackaged and weighed at a lot of your herbal places. Sprouts tends to be my go-to for a lot of these, and they are still selling these. So elderberry, we start with this. Elderberry is a good immune booster. It's a good immune modulator. It's very good for folks that want to support their immune system. Maybe you're nervous about any type of viral exposure, or you commonly get allergy season that turns into sinus infections, bronchitis, and even deeper type of infections that might occur with the skin or lymphatics. Elderberry can be really great for that. The second item, and I will brew these two together. The other thing that I get are called rose hips. So these are literally like, when I smell them, oh, it smells so great. They smell like roses. And rose hips have some of the most naturally abundant occurring levels of vitamin C. So you often will see like ester C, and it'll also have rose hips in it. And that's where it gets more of the vitamin C potency. Well, you can go straight to the source. So you guys know I love as natural as I can get. I will brew up elderberry and rose hip tea together. And so I will do like a tablespoon of each, and I will let them brew it boils for about 15 minutes. The water turns this beautiful like magenta purpley red color. And then I let it seep, and when it comes down to a nice temperature, then I will strain it. I have a really thin little strainer, and then that's my tea. You can then, if you wanted to go further, people will add in honey or molasses and bring that all the way, boil it all the way down to a syrup. I just prefer the tea. I like to kind of have it as an on-demand type of thing. So I use that, and these two together are really great. If you are looking to support your body through the cold and flu season, and obviously this global pandemic, this would be a tea that you could have every day. So my next tea is a tea that is for my ladies, and this is an Ayurvedic tea. Sometimes this is hard to find. I'll post some links where you can grab it. This Ayurvedic tea has one of my favorite, all-time favorite Ayurvedic herbs, and she's known as like the mother herb, and it's very, very potent for all women, all ages, my teenagers to my ladies in their 80s and 90s. Because even after menopause, ladies, your body is still producing estrogen and progesterone. You have to support that. And shatavari, this is the main tea ingredient. This is a shatavari tea with additional herbals. This is your period balancer tea. Just overall good support for ladies. This tea is also beneficial if you are lactating, if you're a nursing mommy. So let me share with you some of the ingredients. It has shatavari, the mother of all Ayurvedic herbs for women. It's great for all female challenges. Next up in order, it has turmeric. That's a good anti-inflammatory. That is also really great for all of my ladies who have PCOS. And if you do have that, I have a whole protocol. Actually, I have a protocol for endometriosis and PCOS that I'd recommend if you are dealing with that. This also has moringa leaves. Now, I've spoken a lot about moringa. I think one of my first videos specifically dedicated to moringa aired in December or January of this year. Most importantly, now moringa, we actually have a lot of information about the moringa tree. It's this beautiful tree in the more tropical region. It is very potent at modulating the immune system. And so if women are dealing with autoimmunity, and sometimes that might be thyroid, it might also manifest in hormonal related challenges. The moringa is an anti-inflammatory. It is the highest level occurring natural antioxidant. So it's a high ORAC scale, it's high on the ORAC scale. So it's very good for reducing inflammation. A lot of times that will be present when we have hormonal imbalances like PCOS, endometriosis, any of the kind of endometrial challenges. It also has some calming things. It has chamomile, it has hibiscus in it, and then it has fennel and coriander. Ladies, this is magic. And you may or may not know this. When I was living abroad, after I left Japan, I lived there for a year, I traveled through Southeastern Asia, and one of the countries I spent a lot of time in was India. I stayed primarily in the northern part of India, but I went to both kind of sides of India, the northern part, did the Golden Triangle, but was in Rajasthan and then was all the way to the coastline in Calcutta. And I loved Indian teas. And one of the things that I really fell in love with was a blend like this. And this is as close as I've been able to find to one of my favorite Indian teas that one of the little families that I spent time with made for me that I just adored. So this is really great. And you're going to notice really quick effect of this, meaning if you start drinking this, let's say it's day 10 of your current cycle, you'll notice an effect with the period that's coming, and then you'll notice an even greater impact on the following period. So this is compounding in terms of its benefits. Now, let's talk about the end of the day. I've got two amazing ones for you. This, you can drink any time of the day, but sometimes it's a really good wind down tea. This is the Get Relaxed Tea. This is by Be Well Teas. Very similar type of canister as my Super Adapt Stress Support Tea. This has a lot of herbs that are going to calm and soothe your body. So the ingredients in this that I love, it has rooibos, it has linden, passion flower, eleuthero, chamomile, English lavender, and damask rose. When I open this up, oh, it smells so wonderful. It smells like the kind of rose cachet that you might put in like your lingerie or sock drawer. So fantastic. This is a great tea if you need a little stress reduction. Why I would take this later in the day is that you want to start to calm down your central nervous system. I don't recommend this particular, my first tea that I recommended, anytime after like 2 p.m. So this, I will switch to the purple canister later in the day. And you could pair this up with even an oat milk or an almond milk, kind of give you that English kind of tea vibe. Really nice. Also a little bit of honey. And I will do a little dash of cinnamon and clove, and it just, it's really, really great. So I love this. This is really powerful, specifically for many of you who might find yourself waking up at night or having insomnia or having a hard time adjusting to the time change. And we have a time change right around the corner. So now's the time to start to kind of get your body used to the cycle of going to bed a little earlier. I love that. Now, last and final, this is a zinger. This stuff is so good. I've been drinking this forever. This is a more potent version of it. It's a traditional medicinals brand, and it's their Nighty Night. It's organic Nighty Night Extra, and the extra part of it has some valerian. So when you're stressed or you're dealing with biochemical, physiological stressors, your adrenal glands are being impacted. And here with the adrenal glands, we often will see flip-flopping of our circadian rhythm. Sometimes people are more awake at night and they're tired in the morning. And so you're like flip-flopped, you're completely backwards. The best and most natural way to fix that, without doing testing like we do in my clinic and going really specific, the best way to fix it is to get good sleep. And sometimes when we're stressed out, it's hard to get solid sleep. This tea, I'll drink this tea and then I also follow it with my REM sleep, my natural supplement gel pack. I'll put a link down there if you're interested in that. Oh my gosh, these two, you're gonna sleep solidly, like full on, maybe even snoring and some drooling. Not a bad thing if you're also having a lot of good dreams. This tea is really potent in helping you get to sleep and to stay asleep. So let me share with you some of the things that it has in it. It has valerian, that's the #1 ingredient, 450 milligrams of valerian. Then it has passion flower. You might be kind of seeing a trend. Passion flower is a nerve tonic. It's a nerve sedative. It calms down our central nervous system. Then it has lemon balm, peppermint, and then it has caraway fruit and a little bit of licorice root. Oh my gosh, this is wonderful. I will drink this singular. Sometimes I will add in a little bit of honey, but generally I drink this all by itself and then I'll follow up with the REM sleep tea. So friends, these are my 10 most glorious, always I have on tap, drinking teas throughout the day, and they're wonderful. And they honestly keep me going. And I hope you find benefit in them and try them out. If there's any kind of one that I could say is most important out of any of the mix here, because I know that's often a question, like which one should I get? I don't want to take all 10. And I always put these out here, pick and choose what you think would benefit you. But if I were to really kind of categorize, I think we all need to be dealing with our stress hormones. Cortisol levels are whacked out, and we're just dealing with a lot of stress, and sometimes we don't even recognize it, but our body feels it. This tea, the rhodiola and the tulsi, holy basil, this helps our body deal with mental and physical stressors. And so every day it adapts to the stressors. This makes it very potent. And then the other one, like my number 2, the dandelion tea. I really do think we all need to be supporting our livers more. We just have so much toxicity in our environments and then in our bodies. And when we have good functioning liver functionality, we actually improve our heart health, we lower systemic inflammation, and we improve the vascular health as well. Not just the heart health, but we'll see a reduction in cholesterol and triglycerides. It often is what is able, I'll just put some of my patients on dandelion tea and we can get them off of cholesterol meds. So if that is helpful in terms of picking and choosing, but overall, I think you're going to find a benefit in all of these. So comment down below. I'm so curious. Do you drink any of these right now? And if you don't, which ones are you going to try out? Comment down below. I always love hearing from you, and especially from one tea drinker to another. Tea is so fantastic, and I love sharing my love of teas with you. So cheers and happy tea drinking.